This will unlock the Rockets, as after an interesting season for Jabari Smith Jr., in which we saw him go in and out of the starting lineup, he is poised for a breakout year thanks to the addition of Kevin Durant. We tell you why Jabari is gaining national media attention today here on Rockets Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. We hope you are having a wonderful Monday, and we have lots of fun Rockets news to get to you today involving Jabari Smith Jr. Before that, though, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's 100% free. We are 23 subscribers away from 5,500. We're going to try and hit that by the end of the week. It should be a pretty easy challenge. I've been killing hitting that subscribe button here in a pretty dull part of the off season, but we're going to ramp it up here as we get closer to the 2025-26 season. Hopefully going to have daily coverage here soon. Shorts, videos, live streams, you name it. We got you covered here on Rockets Digest. Go down there, hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about Jabari Smith Jr. here for a little bit, because he has kind of an interesting season coming up. Last year, we saw him in the starting lineup for a majority of the first part, had that injury towards the January area where he was kind of going in and out of being healthy and the talks around what we could expect from him, and Alperen Thompson jumped in, stole that starting spot. After that, we saw him as more of a rotational role, saw the double big really gain national media attention after, I would say at that point, around mid-February to March area, and we saw him have a pretty good series against the Warriors, to be really honest with you. I don't think people realized how good of a series. Now, was it this excellent series people are going to remember? No, but for a guy coming off the bench as the sixth man, he had a very consistent series when somebody did not, Jalen Green. So I kind of think that this year there's a lot more at stake for him. More specifically in the idea that the Rockets have a lot planned for him, and that goes to show why they gave him such a big contract. If you missed it, this was a while back. Shams Charania reported it. This was like 2-3 months ago at this point, but the Rockets did give Jabari Smith Jr. a 5-year, $122 million rookie contract extension. He'll be here through the 2030-2031 season, so lots and lots of Jabari Smith, which we're going to see over the next couple of years. And this season, he's going to get that starting role back, because it seems right now we're going to have Fred VanVleet at the 1, at the 2 will be Alperen Thompson, at the 3 is going to be KD, at the 4 is where Jabari will play, and at the 5 will be Alperen Şengün. And so that increased role is starting to really kind of take the national world by storm. Last year, it was talked across multiple different media outlets how he was a very big and highly ranked candidate for the most improved player of the season, which is funny because Alperen Thompson, not a month ago at this time, was also being labeled as a very key piece and a very important guy that could win the most improved player in the NBA. So if both of them improved to that level, that's a very good sign for the Houston Rockets. And there's a lot in the tank for Jabari Smith Jr. He played just 1 year in college, but in that year, the offensive capabilities were shown very widely. He was playing with the Auburn Tigers back in 2021-2022, 16.9 points per game, field goal percentage at 42.9, three-point percentage right at 42 as well. Like the free throw percentage, defensive rebounding, and rebounding total 7.4. All good stats here in college, all what you would expect from a one-and-done type level player. In the NBA, it's been I'm going to say a more focused game towards the defensive side of the ball, which is what you'd expect when you have a head coach like Ime Udoka. He's 22 years old, though. There's still so much time for Jabari to get some improvement here. Did average 30 minutes per game last year, but that kind of makes the points total a little more alarming in some aspects. Just 12.2 points per game, obviously dealing with injury throughout a good part of that middle of the season. 7 rebounds per game, about where you'd expect it. The field goal percentage and three-point percentage, you'd like those to just be a touch higher, especially the three-point percentage, 350. You know, I don't think in a lot of ways that he's going to have that many three-point opportunities, the Rockets really want him to have three-point opportunities. But at the same time, I do think that it is an important part of the game for Jabari Smith to improve that three-point percentage. Now, again, entering the NBA, it's different. And especially when you have a head coach like Ime Udoka, your game's going to take on a different light. G.C. Bellchamber of Space City Scoop says, quote, "Yet since entering the NBA with Houston, he has largely played a defensive and rebounding role in tandem with phenom Alperen Şengün, taking on a modest offensive role as he has acclimated to the league and what his team scheme has demanded of him." So, again, 16 points in college basketball to NBA. you'd expect a little bit of decrease, but also it's partially because of the fact that that's what the Rockets kind of are looking at for Jabari Smith Jr. They want him to be more of a defensive-minded guy, and I think that's what they're going to get here. So kind of looking at why Kevin Durant is going to be such an important part of this, GC Bellchamber again saying, quote, with the addition of Durant this offseason, the Rockets' outlook on offense has transformed entirely. As one of the most efficient and reliable scorers of this generation, Durant's presence as a threat both on the perimeter and in the mid-range will provide a host of new opportunities to Houston's other offensive pieces, including Jabari Smith. Why does this do so? Well, when you have a athlete, basketball player, absolute monster on the hardwood in Kevin Durant, it's going to open up for more opportunities in other facets of other players' games. Now, Kevin Durant has a lot of people try and go one-on-one on him, which is a very dumb decision because last year he had the best scoring percentage when it was one-on-one all across the NBA. I think people are knowing that and going to realize that. So there will be multiple double teams on Kevin Durant. There'll be multiple help situations on Kevin Durant this season, meaning he's going to be kicking out the ball a lot. He's going to drive. He's going to be on the perimeter. He's going to have two guys come on him, and you're going to have to go and pass out to Jabari, pass inside to Alperen. There's going to be moves to make to give Kevin Durant more assist opportunities, and in some ways it's a little bit on Kevin Durant to be the guy that you expect in that light. So that's kind of the hard part. So this is kind of exactly where we go to on the report, saying, quote, given Durant's playmaking abilities, he still averaged 4.2 assists last season on a stumbling Phoenix Suns team. There should be a number of easier opportunities both away from and at the rim for Smith to capitalize upon. And that's where this increased role is really, really going to be seen. When Kevin Durant does get double teamed, when Kevin Durant does get taken out of a play to some extent, you're going to have to rely on the younger players on this team. And Jabari Smith is one of, if not the youngest player on this team, 22 years old. This guy is going to be an important piece of your team, especially if you expect him to start at that power forward position. The good news is when Kevin Durant did get traded here, a big reason why it was not only a good move for the Rockets for their team, it was a good move for the Rockets for development. Because if Kevin Durant can be a true leader here in Houston, and I mean, I feel like that does depend on him getting an extension, but if he can kind of teach Jabari Smith Jr., work with him, or Jabari Smith Jr. can at least just pick up what he is seeing from Kevin Durant, it's going to make for a very interesting team. And as of right now, you get to see him at that power forward slot, but with that extension that he got, where he'll be here till 2030, 2031, the expectation is that if Kevin Durant is, whether he retires, whether he leaves, it doesn't matter. He won't be here by then, I think is the point I'm trying to get to. And at that time, that's when Jabari Smith will go back to that small forward position, knowing that Amen Thompson, there's a very real possibility he becomes your point guard if Reed Sheppard does not work out. So that small forward position is 100% going to be Jabari Smith at some point. And getting to learn from one of the best small forwards, it's going to be fun. So the development is going to be there. It might take some time to kind of work itself into the game, which is what GC Bellchamber kind of puts in his final part of a report saying, quote, well, it will take some development in Smith's game, and especially his aggression on offense. It would not be surprising in the least if his role continues to increase this season as the rotation shakes out, end quote. Which is kind of the bigger thing. The early part of this season, there might be some stumbling. When you add a star like Kevin Durant and you have these other younger players, I'm not going to say they're trying to learn their footing anymore. This is 100% a fully developed team ready to go for a championship run. But when you play with a star player, sometimes there are stumbles across the other pieces of your team because they're not used to either not getting the ball as much or having the ball way more than an assist opportunity. I mean, there's a kind of a weird dynamic that gets changed. They're going to have training camp, and luckily, KD, it wasn't like he just arrived yesterday. Like, he's been here for a bit now. There's been talks, there's been workouts, and they're going to have preseason to kind of work out some of that fluff. And in the NBA, I do believe we'll see a lot of the younger players. I think KD won't play too much, especially given his age and injury history, so I just don't see him playing too often. However, there's going to be time for them to kind of learn their dynamics with each other, and at that point, you can hopefully get there and have a good opportunity for Jabari. So with all this being said, I think he is a very key piece, and if it does work out, this will 100% make the Rockets an even better team than what we're already expecting. And so, Jabari, let's predict his end-of-season stat line in this upcoming year. I want you to predict it in the comments. So again, what's his stat line? Just for a reminder, we're going to go back. We'll pull up his stats from this past year and go back to that. But either way, what do you think the stat line for Jabari Smith Jr. will look like? Just a reminder, again, here is his stats from this past year. 30 minutes, 12 points per game, 7 rebounds, 1.1 assists. Let me know in the comment section what you believe his new stat line will look like in this season. Personally, if you ask me, I'd like to see that points per game get back to that Auburn level, about 16. I want his three-point percentage to get up, a couple of stats there. Rebounding, I think, might go down, though. I know he's going to be playing in that 4 slot, but Alperen Şengün and Kevin Durant are just so good at crashing the boards, win the ball when he was heading to the hoop. So I think his rebounding percentage might go down, which hopefully will make his assists be a little higher as well. Not a ton of assists to look at there when you go back to it, just the 1.1 per game. So I think a lot of improvement on a couple different stats, but I really am excited for the season, and I've kind of made a similar video to this a lot about like how Amin Thompson can break out and be the guy who moves in. Jabari Smith Jr. can be the guy who breaks out. But if you're allowed to have both these guys, they break out at the same time, this could be a scary, scary team. And I'm not talking just for the NBA. I'm talking about literally the Rockets. It is a crazy, crazy time. So we're excited, but we will see you next time here on Rockets Digest. We'll see you here. Peace out.